Hello everyone, my name is Vazelia and today we will be talking about how to learn German for beginners. In this video, we will be talking about German articles such as der, die, das, its conjugations, and also the sentence structure. First, we begin with the article. In German, we have three articles, which are der for masculine, die for feminine, and das for neutral. So today we will be learning the rules for article, or Regeln für den Artikel, on how to recognize the article for the noun. The articles der, die, das reveal the gender of the noun. Das Genus, which means that it also defines whether the noun is masculine, feminine, or neutral. For person, the natural gender is commonly the same as the grammatic gender, whereas for things, we usually don't know its article, for it does not have any gender identifier. For example, we have the spoon, der Löffel, the fork, die Gabel, and the knife, das Messer. Most articles in German has no reason behind, therefore we are just supposed to learn them. But there are some basic rules in helping you to identify the article of the noun, so let's get started. The most basic approach in identifying German article is by memorizing the endings from each noun. For example, for the article der, we have nouns with the Endungen er, der Koffer, der Spieler. Nouns with the Endungen en are also masculine, der Ofen, der Rasen. For nouns ending in ig, we have der Honig. Another ending is ling for der Zwilling, der Frühling, or for der Organisator, ist for der Tourismus, and ismus for der Tourismus. For the article die, we have words ending with a. In German, a lot of words ending with a have feminine article, die Lampe, die Tasche. Another is words ending in ie, die Bäckerei. Also words ending in heit und keit, die Gesundheit, die Krankheit, die Sehenswürdigkeit. Also words ending in schaft und are also feminine. For example, Freundschaft. A lot of words ending in are also feminine, like the exam, die Prüfung, the newspaper, die Zeitung. Example for other feminine endings are die Nationalität, die Klinik, die Demokratie, die Frisur, die Konferenz, and etc. Note for plural nouns, we always use the article die, along with the plural Endungen, such as die Zeitungen, die Spielerinnen, die Museen. Lastly, we have the article das. For the article das, we have words ending in schön und klein, such as das Mädchen for the girl, das Fräulein for miss. In here we can also see that the article das is usually used for the smaller form. We have das Kind, das Baby, and Mädchen und Fräulein are the smaller form of Frau, a woman. Next are words ending in man, das Monument. Another ending for neutral is nis, das Ergebnis. Last, we have the Turm and das Eigentum, das Museum, and so on. These rules and conditions would help you in recognizing articles of the words, but there is also exceptions at times, which was not based on the rules, but instead you should just learn them over time. Article der is used to identify nouns with masculine gender. So, what are those? First, The article der could be used to identify a masculine person, like father, der Vater, son, der Sohn, grandpa, der Opa, or masculine professions like engineer, der Ingenieur, the teacher, der Lehrer, and doctor, der Arzt. Next, we have the name of days, months, and seasons of the year. For example, like der Montag stands for Monday, der März for March, and der Herbst, which means the season autumn or fall. The next rules are the directions in the point of the compass, Himmelsrichtungen. All 8 directions of the Himmelsrichtungen begin with the article der. Der Norden, der Osten, der Süden, der Westen. And next, most words related to weather are also masculine, such as the rain, der Regen, the snow, der Schnee, and the lightning, der Blitz. Alcohol names in German are also masculine, like der Wein, der Sekt, but except for beer, we have das Bier. The name of car company or the Automarken are also masculine, such as der BMW, der Audi, der Mercedes. The next we will talk on when to use the article die. Article die is generally used when a noun is feminine and when it is plural. Similar to article der that defines a masculine person or profession, the article die defines a feminine person and feminine professions, such as mother, die Mutter, daughter, die Tochter, grandma, der Oma, and all professions ending in en defines a feminine professions or the feminine Berufliche. Die Lehrerin, teacher. Next, we have name of flowers and trees, Blumen und Bäume, such as die Rose, die Lily. An extra note to what we have mentioned before, all professions with an en Endungen is to define a weibliche Beruf, of feminine professions, and is complemented with the article die. The female teacher, die Lehrerin, the female doctor, die Ärztin. An extra note to what we have mentioned before, all professions with an en Endungen is to define a weibliche Beruf, of feminine professions, and is complemented with the article die. The female teacher, die Lehrerin, the female doctor, die Ärztin. Article das for neutral. Das is used as an article for Nomen aus Verben or the Nomen aus Adjektiven, which means that whenever you formulate nouns from verb or adjectives, they will take the article das. Zum Beispiel, das Essen, the food, comes from the verb essen, which is to eat. Das Fahren, the drive, comes from the verb fahren, which is driving. And das Schwimmen, swimming, comes from the verb swim. Next, we will talk about verb conjugation or conjugation in German. First, we begin with haben und sein. In German, we have 2 helping verbs, such as haben, which means to have, and sein, which means to be. These helping verbs shall be conjugated according to the subjects or the subject. The conjugation pattern for haben is according to the German grammatic conjugation that apply to mostly all Verben. We have ich habe, du hast, sie es hat, wir haben, ihr habt, sie haben, Sie haben. How we conjugate German Verben could be learned by the Endungen in the verb haben. In here, we can see that the only part changing was marked with the color blue, and which are the Endungen or the endings. Whereas for the verb sign or the to be, the pattern tends to be more irregular, but still follow the rules for Endungen, such as bis und ist, Endungen st for du, und Endungen t for sie, s. Therefore, for the verb sein, the patterns are ich bin for I am, du bist for you are, sie, es, is for he, she, it, is, wir sind for we are, ihr seid for you, plural, sie sind for they are. To summarize, the verb conjugation is easiest to be learned through changes in the endings of the verb, which we have Endungen e for ich, Endungen st for du, Endungen t for sie, es, Endungen bt for ihr, Endungen an or the base form for sie, yours, and sie, they. This could be largely applied to all Verben in German, only with little exceptions or the Ausnahmen for special cases. Verb conjugation for lernen, studying. Ich lerne, du lernst, sie, es lernt, wir lernen, ihr lernt, sie lernen. Mit dem Verb fahren haben wir auch die Umlaut. Ich fahre, du fährst, sie, es fährt, wir fahren, ihr fährt, sie fahren. For the verb lesson, read, we have a little exceptions where sometimes the conjugation does not follow the basic rules. Ich lese, du liest, sie, es liest, wir lesen, ihr lest, sie lesen. Next, we have conjugation of the modal verbs or the modal Verben. First, we have wollen or want. Ich will, du willst, sie, es will, wir wollen, ihr wollt, sie wollen. Next is the modal Verben dürfen. May. Ich darf, du darfst, sie, es darf, wir dürfen, ihr dürft, sie dürfen. Next, we have mögen or like. Ich mag, du magst, sie, es mag, wir mögen, ihr mögt, sie mögen. The other three modal Verben are können or can, müssen or must, and sollen or should. First, we begin with können. Ich kann, du kannst, sie, es kann, wir können, ihr könnt, sie können. Next is müssen. Ich muss, du musst, sie, es muss, wir müssen, ihr müsst, sie müssen. Last, we have modal Verben sollen. Ich soll, du sollst, sie soll, wir sollen, ihr sollt, sie sollen. Last, we will talk about the Satzbau in German, or the sentence structure. The sentence structure, or the Satzstruktur, or the Satzbau, in German is a little bit different to the one in English. Instead of only subject and verb in the main clause, the complete Satzbau in Germany includes Vorfeld, which is the first position of the sentence, and could be anything, includes Subjekt, Angabe, or the Ergänzung. Next, we have verb eins. It is the conjugative verb based on the Subjekt, or the subject. Ergänzung und Angabe could refer to object, adjective, adverb of place, adverb of time, and its position is actually more flexible than the other structure. And last, we have verb soll. Usually when it comes to the usage of modal verben and perfect, we have two or more verbs, and instead of being placed together, they are separated. Let's begin with one simple sentence with only subject, verb, and object. Ich wohne in Berlin, or I live in Berlin. Ich as Vorfeld, wohne as verb eins. As we only have one verb here, so it's conjugated and placed on the second position. Berlin as object. Next is with the usage of modal verben wollen or want to. The conjugated form of wollen to subject ich is will, which is why it becomes Ich will in Berlin wohnen, or I want to live in Berlin. Subjekt ich als Vorfeld. In Verb 1 haben wir den Modalverben will, and wohnen is placed on Verb soll, which is at the end of the sentence. Remember, after the usage of Modalverben, the verb shall be in its infinitive form or the base form. Next is when we have two objects or the soll Ergänzung. Also, when Subjekt ich als Vorfeld, we only add mit meinem Freund, which means with my friend. Also, ich will mit meinem Freund in Berlin wohnen, or I want to live in Berlin with my friend. The position between mit meinem Freund and in Berlin is actually interchangeable, which means they could be switched one way or the other. Here comes the usage of Angabe. There's only slight difference between Angabe and Ergänzung. Also, together their position is also interchangeable, yet would not necessarily change the meaning of the sentence, and is also both a correct structure. Ich will mit meinem Freund im nächsten Jahr in Berlin wohnen, which means I want to live in Berlin with my friend next year. In here we could see that the sentence structure or Satzbau is complete, and this is what a complete sentence in Deutsch would look like. The basic sentence, Ich wohne in Berlin, still remains on the same position, and the added adverb and adjective, which are meant to give more information to the sentence, could be simply added afterwards on their desired position. In this sentence, instead of having the common structure of Subjekt as Vorfeld, we have the adverb of time im nächsten Jahr or the Angabe as Vorfeld. This would not give any meaning to the initial sentence, only that the completed sentence would be nächstem Jahr will ich mit meinem Freund in Berlin wohnen. So, still following the given table, the subject, instead of being the Vorfeld, is now back to its desired position, and meanwhile the Angabe, because it now acts as Vorfeld, it is moved to the first position of the sentence. Objekt mit meinem Freund als Vorfeld. Mit meinem Freund will ich im nächsten Jahr in Berlin wohnen, which means with my friend, I want to live in Berlin next year. Adverb of place or die Ergänzung als Vorfeld. In Berlin will ich mit meinem Freund im nächsten Jahr wohnen. In Berlin, I want to stay with my friend next year. Next, we have Satzstruktur mit Jungtor. Mit dem Jungtor, the position of the word could also vary. For some Jungtor, like und, den, oder, aber, this would not necessarily change any of the Satzbau position, but it acts more like an added Vorfeld. So, it was only added on the first position of the sentence, and the rest structure of the sentence would remain the same. Satzstruktur mit Jungtor und Modalverben. Modalverben mit dem Jungtor und, den, oder, aber also follow the basic rules in which verb 1 we have the conjugated Modalverben muss, and in verb 2 we have the infinitive form of arbeiten. Mit dem Jungtor weil, obwohl, wenn, damit, und das, which means because, even though, if, that's why, and whether, respectively, the conjugative verb was usually placed to the last position.